Well, we want to help people be at peace with God, and that gets us to the series that we're in right now. It's called Give Peace a Chance. We want to give peace a chance. And when we look at this world today, we know that there is a lot of conflict happening. It doesn't seem like there is much peace going on. All you have to do is turn on the television and see what is occurring all around us. And what I want to talk to you about today is, how does it happen and how does peace go away? And it all has to do with the word trust. Everybody say the word trust. Trust. It's about trust. When you look at that word, it's easy to understand the word when you think about what we do in our life, when we put trust in other people. One of the best illustrations that I've heard is, you get in a car. Who are you willing to get in a car with and allow them to drive and you be in the passenger seat, right? You're trusting them to drive you. Let me ask another question. Would other people be willing to get in the car and let you drive? Okay, you hate personal questions like that, right? To let you drive. Jennifer, don't you love it when I just mention her name? You know what's coming next. All right, Jennifer's my wife, if you're new here today. And I talk about her, but know that I love her after this is over, okay? I do love her. But Jennifer, every week after this service, she drives home. And normally I'm driving all the time. She drives home because I'm exhausted, just mentally exhausted, tired, and she's so good to do that. Basically, I go to my office, I get some kind of chocolate and a Diet Coke, and I get in the car and she drives me home. Okay, that's every week. Getting in the car and letting her drive is one of the scariest experiences in the world, okay? It is so scary to let her drive because it's just freaky, how she drives. I said to her last Sunday, no lie, I said to her last Sunday when I got in the car, we were driving, of course I was telling her what to do a little bit, and I said, Jennifer, I don't know how it is that you can drive without me telling you what you're supposed to do next. I don't know how you can do that because I find myself doing that all the time. And she's never gotten in a wreck. I've been in 2 or 3. What's going on with that? She's in a better position than I am, right? But that really is a good way for us to think of it. Who would we put our lives in their hands? Who would we look to and say, yes, I trust you in what you do? That word trust is so important because it helps us know who is trustworthy. There's some specific words that are associated with it. For example, integrity. We trust people who have good integrity. The word strength. We respect those people or trust those people who aren't going to be moved by difficult situations or circumstances in their life. Ability is another one of those words. We know that they are able and capable to do something, and we trust them to do those things. We also know just the surety of it. This is another great word that describes it. We're sure. We feel so confident. We're sure they're going to make the right decisions. Those are the type of people who are trustworthy. Well, we have to look at ourselves and say, am I that type of person? What we know is that trust is going away in our world. There's a study, actually it's a yearly trust barometer report that's done by a company called Edelman, which is a leading global marketing firm. And what they do is they look at trust, obviously, to see if the society in general is becoming more trusting or less trusting. And their take on this, of course they deal with businesses and everything else, are people trusting businesses to have the right integrity? Are people trusting them to do the right things? Or are they looking at business and say, man, they just don't have any integrity anymore. They're always trying to take advantage of me or whatever. But it's not just business that they look at. They look at trust overall. And what they found out is that in 2018, there was a 9% increase of people who were not trusting people. 9% increase of distrusting people, which is the largest increase that they've ever recorded, 9%. And what they said was this, that we are in a trust crisis, that the U.S. now is in the lowest fourth of 28 countries that they looked at as far as people who are willing to trust each other. And what they also learned from this is that much of that trust was diminished because of what's happening in government, what is happening in businesses, and also what we're hearing through the media. What was interesting about this study was all of these things that I just mentioned have to do with people. The government is run by people, right? Businesses are run by people. Media, is run by people. We see all of those things. And the people are the ones that are causing distrust. When they have looked at this before and have noticed a spike in distrust coming, it's been because of other huge events. For example, some huge financial crisis that happened that nobody expected to come because of a coronavirus or something like that. I mean, we just don't know what's up. The government had nothing to do. It just has happened, and we see something like this, or some earthquake happens, have no control of it, and now we become distrusting. We just can't trust that everything is going to be okay. Well, those are things outside of our control. That's not the reason why distrust is increased. It's because people have led us to no longer trust one another. Isn't that sad? There is a trust crisis in our world. And because of that, peace is going away. We are to give peace a chance. I want to start with this verse because it talks about that very thing. It's found in Colossians chapter 3, verse 15, which says this: let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, since as members of one body you were called to peace, and be thankful. This is really incredible to me because it says this: we were called to peace. We were called to be at peace with each other. And then it says be thankful. Did you know if we were at peace with each other, we'd be thankful? We'd be joyful in our life? We are to be at one. It talked about them being one body, which means we have one mind and one heart. We believe the right things. In fact, it talked about this, about our heart. But that's the issue. We've got heart problems. We are directing our love and our passion in the wrong places. Instead of directing that to somebody else, man, I love you, we have begun to look at ourselves and say, I love myself. We're to feel that way about God, to love Him. I want to share this scripture because it goes along with the heart theme and exactly what I'm talking about. It says this in Psalm 73, whom have I in heaven but you? Whom have I in heaven but you? Then it says, and earth has nothing I desired besides you. In other words, whatever the world offers, it doesn't matter. I need you. My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. I want you to think about the heart in this way. The heart would be in two parts. On one side, one half of the heart can be described in a certain way. The other half can be described in another way. On one side of the heart, we know this, that it has a certain passion. And it's a very selfless passion that we look to other people and want the very best for them. On the other part of the heart, it's a very different passion. It's not about other people, right? It's about ourselves. I want to describe these two parts of the heart in this way because I'll probably be making reference to it a little bit when we go through it. This part of the heart is called the but you part of the heart. But you, it's about you. I'm just passionate about you. You're all I need. It's about you. This part of the heart is but me. Very different parts of the hearts, right? But me. This side of the heart, distrusting. I can't trust you to do the right thing. Your integrity is poor. I can't trust you to make the right decisions in your ability. I can't be sure that you're going to do the right things. But the but you person knows that they have my best intention in mind. We have a choice about the direction of our passion. I shared a definition of that word last week. The word passion means this: any powerful or compelling emotion or feeling such as love or hate. The but you is the love part. Man, I'm selfless, right? But the but me part is that part. And like I had mentioned before last week, we don't like to say, I hate anyone. You know, we don't say, I hate you. But if we do things to put ourselves before other people, y'all, that is a hateful behavior. That's what it's talking about. It's a hateful behavior. So we have to decide which of these directions we need to go. Now, I talked about what happens in passion and how we go from being in a peaceful relationship to moving all the way where it's broken down to come back again. There's a dead spot up here somewhere. Do y'all hear it? Either that or I'm faking you out, right? Did you hear me just fake you out? I just faked you out. So if that happens, just know whatever I said was very godly that you didn't hear. Okay, so anyway, just like things like that, I've totally lost my frame. Okay, now I'm back. It came back. Last week, I talked about the first failing relationship. And that relationship was between Adam and Eve and God. There's a passage of scripture on your outline sheet that talks about that, which I am not going to read to you. Okay? I put it there just to remind you of what happened when the relationship broke down between man and God, that they began to blame each other. Adam and Eve began to blame each other. We see the breakdown in a relationship. Let me just say this about it. Trust went away between them. Trust went away. So how is it that we bring that trust back? On your sheet, y'all see a diagram. I know I'm kind of going ahead here a little bit, but y'all see a diagram. It's the passion cycle. Here it is on the outline or the screen. I want to go through that one more time this week to help you see where I am today and what I'm talking about. First of all, there's godly passion, right? It's the but you person with the but you person. That's who this kind of relationship is with. So it's peaceful. The confused passion is this. My passion for the other person is still there, but I start having passion for other things. I have different options. That's what happened with Adam and Eve, right? They started looking at other things before God. So we're tempted with other things. We become confused about it and have to decide, am I going to be committed to them or am I going to be committed to myself? Misdirected passion is my passion in action. It's my passion in action. In other words, I act on the temptation that came in my life. This is failure, right? This is where distrust comes in a relationship. This is where we have put ourselves before someone else and started living out of the but me part of our lives. Why? Because we followed the wrong influence. Number one, on your outline sheet, let's fill in the statement, which talks about this. It says misdirected passion, right? We misdirect our passion when we give into the wrong influence. Satan was influencing them to turn their back on God, to become a but me person. There are two types of influence. Let's fill this in on your sheet as well. Here we go. The two types of influence are these: inspiration and temptation. So God inspired Adam and Eve. God inspired them to do the right thing so that they would be protected. That's inspiration. They're putting the other person first. Temptation is the opposite of that. We put things in front of the other person to tempt them to go in that direction and have a change of heart from the but you heart to the but me heart. Temptation. That's what Satan did to Adam and Eve, to lead them to sin. But what I want to say about Adam and Eve, and if you don't know the story well, I encourage you to go back and read this whole passage. This is what happened. They both sinned. They both did something that they weren't supposed to do. But Satan tempted Eve to eat this fruit that she wasn't supposed to eat. She ate the fruit. But then what happened? Eve tempted Adam with the fruit. See, it's not just that we're tempted from Satan or this spiritual force out there. It's that we become people who tempt other people to do bad things. Because of our bad behavior, we now are leading and tempting people to do bad things ourselves. It might not be in that relationship, this committed relationship that we're supposed to be in. It might be in some other relationship that you have with someone else. They're tempting you to do something that you shouldn't be doing. They're tempting you away from the committed relationships that you're supposed to have. Well, this is what we learn about this misdirected passion. As I just mentioned, we give in and we act in an ungodly way. Let's fill in the statement. It just says this: misdirected passion. It's a love that leads us to act. Everybody say the word act. Act. To act out in a self-centered way. I've said that probably 4 times already, that we act out in a self-centered way. Let me put it this way. We do something wrong, and that wrong behavior has a name. Number 2 on your outline sheet. This is what it says. Our misdirected passion occurs when we fail. Once again, aren't you glad you could come to church today and be encouraged by me telling you that you're a big fat failure? How's that? Right? I'm not talking about your body, okay? This is the spiritual condition that you're a big fat failure. We all are big fat failures. We all do things wrong, don't we? We all do the opposite of what it is that we know we shouldn't do. There's a definition or description of this failure. Let's fill it in on your sheet. We're just flying through stuff here. Let's fill this in on your sheet. The word failure means this: to fall short of success or achievement in something expected or approved of. Now, where I want to put the focus here is on that word expected, that we have certain expectations that we are to follow. I don't know how many of you like to take tests. Some people enjoy taking tests. I don't like taking tests. Well, let me clarify that a little bit. If I studied well and I knew the information, I like to take the test. If I didn't like to take the test. So therefore, I don't like to take tests because I normally wasn't ready, okay? That's the way it is. But if we're prepared, it's okay to take the test. This is the kind of test I like more than all tests. It's just a pass-fail test. It's not the A, B, C, D, F, right? It's just pass-fail. You either pass or fail. I don't want you to rate me like, hey, you're really, really smart, or you're barely getting through this with a D or what. Just tell me if I passed or if I failed. And wouldn't that be great? Here's the other thing I don't understand. Where is the E? You can make an A, B, C, D, F. You're wanting me to understand the alphabet? Where is the E? I even did research for this sermon this week about the E, which I don't have time to share with you today, so we'll just skip over that, all right? So anyway, we have this test. Here's the test. The test is the expectation test. So these are the expectations. Here they are. There are 3 of them. To sacrifice my expectation in this relationship, if I'm a but you person, and I'm supposed to be that, is sacrifice. I'm going to give myself for you. The other word is investment, right? I'm going to invest for you. That's the expectation. The other one is to protect you. That's the expectation. God gave the instruction, don't eat of the fruit, because if you do, you'll die. He was protecting them. Those are the expectations. It's pass-fail. It's just pass-fail. I either sacrifice or I don't. I either invest or I don't. I either protect or I don't. And, it's dependent upon the situations that we're looking at. But it's like, you know what? You did a B. You just barely did it. It's like, no, you either did it or you didn't do it. And when we don't do it, no matter what the situation, that degrades the trust between us. It degrades the trust between us. The Bible actually talks about this very thing. One of the verses that some of you are familiar with, because it really describes who all of us and who we are. This is the big fat failure scripture. Are you ready for it? In Romans chapter 3, verse 23, I want you to read it out loud with me. Here we go. For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. For all are big fat failures and fall short of the glory of God. I know that's a terrible probably way to say that, but we all have failed and fall short of the glory of God. And fall short. Did you hear the definition just a minute ago of failure? To fall short of. So this is the expectation. God had this expectation. Let me tell you what it was. To love other people and to always put them before yourselves. That was the expectation. And when we don't, that's when we have failure. So let me give you another description on your sheet. Here we go. What we know is that to fail and to sin are the same thing. Hopefully this will make you look at this in a different way, or to realize really what this is. To fail and to sin are the same thing. When we look at sin, at least I do, this is what I've done, is I've always connected sin, or mostly connected sin between myself and God, that I did something wrong to God. God said, this is what I'm supposed to do. I fell short of the expectation, and because of that, I sinned against God. That's exactly what it is. However, if there are expectations between myself and someone else, and I don't meet the expectations, I sinned against that person. It's not just sin against God now, it's a relationship. It's sin against that person. I fell short of what you needed from me. So therefore, what just happened in my life? My integrity went away. The surety of, are they going to do the right thing for me all the time, went away. My ability to make good decisions in difficult times has gone away. My strength has gone away. And I need that strength because people need me. want to just share one other thing, and we're just going to get through this, and we're not going to go further, okay? Let me have you feel, and again, I've said this now probably the 5th time, but let's go ahead and write it in, that failure, again, is self-centered behavior. It's me saying, but me, and not but you. Self-centered behavior. We need people that we can trust. We need people that we can lean on when things get hard. That song, Lean on Me When You're Not Strong. I'll be your friend. I can help you carry. Y'all want to sing it? Okay, that's not. But many of you are familiar with that song. We need somebody to lean on. I read a tremendous, y'all, it was a wonderful statement. Or actually, I heard the statement. A wonderful statement from, her name is Autumn Reeser, great theologian. She played Sarah Standor. Actually, it was in this role that she made this statement. Sarah Standor in the movie A Country Wedding, which was on Hallmark yesterday. Okay, it was really great. So let me read this to y'all. That was supposed to be funny and all that, so some of you didn't get it. But anyway, thank you for the pity laugh. I heard it back there. Here is what she said. I want you to hear it. This is what she said in the movie. I want someone who I can walk with so we can lean against each other so neither one of us fall. That should be scripture, shouldn't it? Isn't that great? That's who we need in our life, people to lean on. Why would I say that? Because of the scripture. This is what we read. It's found in Proverbs. Let love and faithfulness is another word for trustworthiness. Let love and trustworthiness never leave you. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart. Then you will win favor and a good name in the sight of God and man. Listen, trust in the Lord with all your heart. And what's the next word? Lean. And lean not on your own understanding, but me. All right? Lean not on your own understanding, and all your ways submit to him. In other words, but you lean on him, and he will make your path straight. Do not the wise, and do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and shun evil. But lean on him. Be strength for them. So this is the big question. Are you lean worthy? Okay? If people lean on you, are you going down? Because the person is not strong. Or are you the person who is there? Let me tell you the person you can lean on is. You got one foot planted in God, loving him, and got one foot planted in a love for the other person. So lean on me all you want, because I'm not going anywhere.